Hey everybody, we're here at the ComicWow Studios and we're doing an unboxing. Talk a little bit about this game called Orphans Ashes, a game of strategic orphan burning based on Looking for Group by Brian Sommer and Lar DeSouza. I hope I said those names right. This is a game for 2 players, 45 to 60 minutes, ages 13 and up. It says so right on the box, so it must be true. There's a warning there for choking hazards. And again, this is by lookingforgroup.co and Blind Ferret, who we all know make some really amazing, funny cartoons and comics and everything. So let's see what they've got here inside this amazing box. All right, so we have Orphans Ashes. So one of the things you're going to find in here is scorecard. You got the scorecard right there. Very cool. You've got Cale and Richard's narrative card. Basically tells you what his goals are, how many hit points he has, and any special actions he may have. His goal, Cale knows he can't save everyone, but he will try. Cale scores a point every time he safely leads an orphan to an exit. Unless the orphan is burning, Cale's got to deal with that first. He has 5 hit points and special actions. If you call out, "With me, all orphans not currently on fire," in Cale's room, attempt to move to his space. If an orphan can get to Cale without going through a fire, they do. If they must move through fire to get to Cale, they do as the normal risk of catching fire. So, at the normal risk of catching fire. Cale can have as many orphans with him as he can balance on his pawn, which, let's go to that real quick, because that is super funny as far as this game goes. So you have Cale's pawn, this blue pawn right here. It looks great, and he's got his arms flexed up there and everything. But what you're doing is you're going to be taking these little orphan pawns, and you're going to be balancing them on the Cale figure during the play to try to get as many of them out as you can. We'll put this one on upside down because he'll balance there. So you're going to try to put as many as you can on Cale. This little pawn here. It's crazy. And then while he's carrying him, you got to move him through the orphanage. If one falls, what happens? What it says here, Cale can have as many orphans on him as he can balance on his pawn, whether on his conveniently shaped arms or however you can fit them. Get creative, but be warned, if any of the orphans fall off of Cale's pawn at any point on your turn, those orphans immediately die and the fire scores them. So the fire on the scorecard, you have these little flame tokens too to represent. So if someone does catch on fire, we'll take one of these pawns, catches on fire, whoosh, they're on fire. That pawn shows that and they can get multiple fires on them until they're dead, and you have to deal with the fires. So it's pretty neat. And by neat, I mean twisted in a horrible, tragic sort of way. But in the box, you're going to get 2 pawns of Cale, 2 pawns of our hero, Richard. And I say hero because he's one of the main antagonists and just super funny in the comics. He's so funny. And then you have all the different fire tokens. But on the scorecard, you'll have one of each to include a fire token as well, because the fire scores points as well throughout the game. Now let's take a look at the Richard card here. Right there, Richards. Stop, they'll yell. We're innocent. What a mighty red fwoosh, or with a mighty red fwoosh, Richard says, I know. So, goal. Richard's evil magic is fueled by the souls of the innocent. Richard scores a point whenever an orphan engulfed in red fire is taken off the board. So that's why there are red fire tokens in here as well. All right? So you want to make sure that Richard's burning everybody up. He only has 4 hit points, and he has the Foosh special action. If no other characters are within line of sight of Richard, you can try to Foosh orphans. You roll a die as a result. Remember to use red fire to distinguish between Richard's orphans and the orphanage fire itself. So the different fires on the orphanage are yellow. Fooshes can't be placed in legal spaces containing fire, and they must contain orphans. Obviously, multiple Fooshes can be placed on the same orphan. Hey, that was my kill. He wants to make sure he's killing everybody. If no other characters are within line of sight of Richard, replace all yellow fire on a burning orphan with the line of sight of Richard with a Foosh red fire. So that's, that's what he's there to do, is kill everybody. So you have, now as far as the game board, there's these little places where you can place different parts to build your orphanage as you play the game. You go to the different doors. It can either be an entrance or an exit into the game, into the orphanage, and you want to try to build the orphanage, rescue as many as you can, escape. When Cale gets them, he wants to escape, and so you hope to roll a die and the door becomes an exit, and he can escape with them and save the orphans and thus gain points. So you have that. Again, there's a whole box of orphan miniatures. There's some dice in here. You get a yellow and a red die, 6-sided, right there. And on the very bottom there, of course, that's where I would put it, is because I was playing it, is the Orphans and Ashes strategy and game rules. Right there you go. It tells you everything you need to know. So, there you have it. Looking for Group, Blind Ferret put together a pretty fun game, and it's called Orphans and Ashes, the game of strategic orphan burning. So go to your local game shop, pick up this game, tell us all about it in the comments below, and we look forward to seeing you at your local game shop.